Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But it comes at a price. Samantha Horwitz and John Salerno work with police departments across the country to bring valuable recovery, insight resources, and workshops. A Badge of Honor TV brings those professionals to you so we can come together and revitalize communities through a better understanding of what's at stake and what's required for repair. So take a load off and turn up your TV. It's about to get real.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam. We are powered by the OBBM network, and you can catch us on all your streaming networks across every channel. Welcome, Sam. How you doing?
Hey, we are doing great over here. Thank you, Instagram family, for coming on. I can see you guys coming on right now. Wherever you are watching from, give us a like, a follow. We so appreciate it. Happy belated Father's Day, John. I know we connected yesterday, partner. And for those of you who know our show and know what we talk about, I just said, hey, I hope you're having a relaxing day. And then you said, LOL, relaxing.
Yeah. You know, got a new puppy in the house. There is no relaxing.
Yeah.
But I do want to wish all our dads out there a happy Father's Day. And I also want to wish all our moms out there who are covering that role as well. You know, we all know too well with as a spouse of a firefighter or a veteran or, a police officer or anywhere in the emergency field, sometimes duty comes before holidays. And either someone's out at work and missing the festivities, or there is a spouse out there that lost their significant other to the battle of suicide, and they are playing both roles. So we could never forget the moms out there that are playing that dad role on Father's Day as well. We sometimes forget that, the moms do have the hardest job when it comes to raising a family and dealing with their own mental health issues. So let's give them a pat on the back. Let's give them a cheer as well, because, they are the true warriors in the household and on the battlefield. So happy Father's Day to everybody out there from A Badge of Honor TV.
Yeah. And, the shenanigans continue. It just, I forgot what city it is. I want to say Florida, but
New York, Minnesota, Seattle. Oh, sorry.
Well, the shenanigans are going on all over the place, but they're now seizing vehicles of the folks that are involved and destroying them. So it's kind of an incentive to stop doing stupid stuff, because you know what I want to say. And who's caught in the middle of first responders? And we're talking about this, it's every day.
I do want to bring up one thing that Mongo had brought up on the 99% Radio Network show last week. And this goes out to anybody who's doing podcasts or doing interviews on the street for even, for social, mental health or anything else. California is trying to pass the Nick Shirley law. I don't know if you heard about this, but that's going to impact a lot of content creators who are trying to get their voices across. They want to silence they want to silence Nick Shirley and a lot of other interviewers out there for uncovering the truth of some political parties. So the only way they can do that is to silence them on the internet and pass a law instead of cleaning up their own mess or not being corrupt individuals. So if you see this come across your state senate, if you see it right now, it is only in California, but if you see this come across anywhere in your state, keep an eye out for it, because this will impact so many of us out there who are trying to do the right thing on so many levels.
Well, it's called a slippery slope in legal land because, it's First Amendment, freedom of speech. And if a law is passed, in a state, then it could cause some serious problems. But you know what? We talk about a lot of what's not right out there. And what we like to focus on is what is going right. How organizations that we have on each week are doing the right thing for our veterans and first responders. And this week is no exception. I've known our guests for quite a while. I'll say we go way back. and we've kind of watched each other as her nonprofit was born and a badge of honor was born, compare notes, do a lot of things. And she is 100% invested in making sure that there is no veteran or family member of a veteran that is left behind with her programming. So without further ado, let's bring Paula Morgan to a Badge of Honor TV. Hey, Paula, welcome to a Badge of Honor TV.
Hello. How is everybody?
We are doing great. Thanks for being with us. And before we take a deep dive into your mission with Twin Rotors Mission, just tell everybody watching and listening on their favorite podcast app a little bit about you and your background.
So my name is Paula Morgan. I'm the founder of Twin Rotors Mission. I am a Army veteran. I served from 1987 to 1995. I started in the Army National Guard and went active duty in 1991, shortly after Desert Storm. And I really enjoyed my time in service. I had a few traumatic events that have dramatically affected my life. But I'm here today. I got back into the field again on the sideline. What I did was, it took me several years to get back to realizing what the heart of my time in service actually meant to me. And that came about when I started volunteering my time to work for an organization called Gallant Few. This came about after I had been reaching out to other organizations to volunteer with them, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't, we don't need your help because you're not a post 9/11 veteran." So I ran into a lot of stigmatization because of that issue. But the heart of where we started as a nonprofit really stems from a story that I can quickly share. And that's more to do with during COVID, I was contacted by a veteran advocate with regard to a Vietnam War veteran who was going to be evicted from his apartment because he had not been making his payments. And so we started working with this veteran advocate and the veteran to assist him with finding resources that he needed. And in the process of doing that, we ran into several issues that we realized that he was suffering from PTSD. He couldn't manage his finances. He needed medical help. He was turned away from the VA, or kind of, I don't want to say turned away, but he was put off by the VA saying that he just had an alcohol problem. And so there were a lot of issues that needed to be addressed that were not being properly addressed. And I was able to help intervene to get him the help that he needed. It was a team effort, though. It was between myself, the veteran, his sister. So it was a team effort to get everyone involved. And my decision to, flip the script and go ahead and start a nonprofit came about when I had a heart-to-heart conversation with my mentor, Carl Monger, and he said to me, "What can you do to make a difference in your area?" The geographical distance between where they are located, which is more on the Fort Worth side, and where I'm located, which is about 50 miles due east of Dallas, the Metroplex. And, there's a pretty significant gap in resources. We are considered rural, and this gap is what restricts a lot of veterans from getting the help that they need. So then a couple of years after we started our nonprofit, we expanded to include military, families, and first responders. And that request came somewhat at the request of Commissioner's Court. I had presented to them about what we were doing as a nonprofit here in town. And one of the commissioners specifically asked if we would be willing to expand to include the first responder. So we did do that, and it's been challenging. It seems that there's some there's things that go on between law enforcement and veterans, first responders. We're seeing things in this area called suicide by cop, which is very unfortunate because the veteran would rather take their own life than to risk the possibility of going to jail for or being seen for whatever help that it is that they need to be seen for. So
that is tough, and so that's where you try to step in to make sure, because we definitely need to stem that, and there's been a couple of stories about that. We're going to take our first break right now and come back, and specifically, you kind of left out an important part of your background with why it's called Twin Rotors Mission, but we're going to leave people on a cliffhanger because she had a really cool job in the Army, everybody. We will be right back after we hear from Patriot Mobile, wonderful folks that support veterans and first responders. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% US-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
All right, folks, if you did not scan the QR code that was just on the screen, I'm going to tell you how you can take advantage of an amazing offer right now, which is free service for 1 month. You keep your phones, your mobile devices, unless you want new ones. Patriot Mobile has really good ones. You basically keep your service. What Patriot Mobile does is they have an agreement with the big 3, and so you're never without service. So think roaming, but you're not charged, because look at your bill from one of those big 3s. Guaranteed, if you turn on that roaming feature, you're going to be charged extra money. Not at Patriot Mobile. So you use the top, the big 3, you ping off those towers, you're never without service. And again, you right now, if you go to patriotmobile.com/badge, you'll land on the page. You can schedule a callback or go ahead and call them. Their customer service is right here in the North Texas area. And so the sign up and completing that is super easy. If you need new equipment, they will mail it out. And I'm going to find out Wednesday the new stuff coming from Patriot Mobile, which you will want to know about because it'll be something that you can use while on the go. So even if you're off grid or something like that and your mobile phone won't work, you get this little device, kind of looks like a hockey puck. Boom, you are connected. So, safety, right? So patriotmobile.com/badge. Or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code BADGE. Tell them a Badge of Honor sent you for a free month of service. Now back to the show.
Well, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam and Paula Morgan with Twin Rotors Mission. Before we left, we're going to leave on a little high note there. She told us all about what brought us to this point, but she didn't give us the specifics why it's Twin Rotors Mission. So, Paula, let our listening audience know what brought the name.
So the story behind the name involves the fact that my husband and I both served together in South Korea. I'm an avionics mechanic. I was an avionics mechanic. I still feel like I am at times. But when we were in South Korea, that was I was in a CH-47 unit. And so that, because we both worked on CH-47s or Chinooks, that was where the premise of the idea behind the name. Now, some people were like, well, that's not very sellable. And it's like, what's Twin Rotors Mission? We can't spell it. And it's like, that's the point. I want you to find us, but I want you to specifically understand why we are who we are. And so our mission statement is to lift warriors up to new heights so that they can lead and improve quality of life. So there's another piece to our name, though, and I don't talk or share about it very often. I did recently share at a Carry the Load event. We had a buddy that we had served together with in South Korea. His name was James Ponder III. And as it turned out, at this event, I had shared that he had been killed during Operation Red Wings. He was shot down. That aircraft was shot down and he was on it. We had a Gold Star member in the audience who came up to me afterwards and said that that they knew Rebecca Ponder, who is Trey's wife, or I mean his mother. And so we were able to make a connection here about 2 weeks ago. So for the first time since I started my nonprofit, I was actually able to share with her that we had, when we started our nonprofit, it was for a twofold purpose. One was for the fact that of what we had done when we were in service, and also in honor of those who had gone before us. And so it seems heavy, but when we talked, it was a bittersweet conversation that we had on the phone. We were able to relate very much to the way that Trey was. And it was truly, it was healing in a sense to finally have the chance to speak to her. If you go to our website, you can see there's a Chinook community there. And that is very specifically to recognize and honor those who have gone before us for different reasons. So,
and your website for everybody listening on the podcast is twinrotorsmission.org. That's twinrotorsmission.org. Just wanted to get that in, since I can't see
Paula, bringing that up, that that's what when we talk about Carry Load and those and the storyboards, right? When we talk about a badge of honor, we share stories of those who were lost in the line of duty or have taken their own life. And with you guys as well, we never know who's listening. We never know who's out in that listening audience and that impact that it's going to have on them. And we always say, if we always remember them, we say their names, they don't die twice. We keep their memory alive. So what you're doing, and I say this to all of the nonprofits out there, it's not about us. It's not about a badge of honor. It's not about Twin Rotors Mission. It's about those who served, those who passed, and their families that are still moving on. So, God bless you for what you did. That's a heartwarming moment.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about some of the programs that you do, because you have a very robust support system.
Yes. So today is the 22nd of the month, and we call it Buddy Check Day.
That's right.
So the 22nd, this is part of our Operation Camaraderie program. We're still in June. I'm like fast forwarding here. June is PTSD Awareness Month, and it seems like there's, just everywhere you look, PTSD awareness, but do you really see and understand what it means? And I could take it one step further to say just exactly what this means. When you get an email that's titled PTSD, and then the email goes on to share about how their loved one had recently taken their life due to PTSD. And they're wanting all of the memorial funds from the service to come to us, to Twin Rotors Mission, as a result of that fund. I was truly humbled that they reached out. She said in the email, I'm so grateful for what you do. Keep doing what you do. It helps for others to understand that, because PTSD in of itself has been so stigmatized. People don't want to go get health care. They don't want to do these things. So Operation Camaraderie is really designed we focus more on the wellness aspect. We call it wellness instead of health, because mental health, is stigmatized, but mental wellness
Mm-hmm.
carries a different attenuation with it. So we have that piece. We do military reboot. We do, we do both military reboot and first responder reboot. Both of those are history in the making, in the sense that we're the first organization to be able to offer that to individuals in our area here. We do, let's see, had to run down, creative arts. We have a very active quilting group going on right now, but they're expanding into different types of creativity.
You got those big burly, vets quilting. Because I want to see a picture of that. I want to see a guy who's like all tatted up, just quilting. That's it's just something that will help my post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, no, well, and I mean, a lot of women veterans get involved in this. And so for them, there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, there's things that go on in these conversations that'll make you blush. So, but we have our creative arts. We're getting ready to fire our music group back up again. We did do a music therapy with another organization, but we decided to go a different direction. It was just a little too clinical for us, and I wanted to see things move a different direction. We are very much peer-to-peer focused. And so we take a lot of pride in knowing that the group that we started, a lot of those folks are reaching back out to us again because they do want to be involved. Part of our quarterly Cooking with Kelly is part of our Operation Camaraderie program, jumping around a little bit here. But the heart of everything we do really revolves around the life coaching that I do, which is called, I call it Cavalier style life coaching. And in part, the reason for that is that let me back up and talk a little bit about the training that I received originally came from Gallant Few. And they offered for me to take this training. This was back in 2018, 2019 timeframe. Well, then COVID happened. So everything sort of got shoved in the back corner so that I could focus on family and everything. And I didn't know I was going to be starting a nonprofit, which would end up becoming a core issue or a core to what we offer. So we want to talk a little bit about the SR difference. I'm not sure where we're at before we have.
So we're going to talk about the SR difference because this is critical, and that when you do your programming, it's that wellness component that and connection component to the folks that you see and work with. We will be right back after these messages.
Look, when you need to respond to an aggressive situation to protect yourself, your family, or your property, understanding your firearm and legal position are critical. Officers know your skills are only as good as your commitment to training. So know what you're doing. So when you're in a vulnerable situation, we can count on your response. Whether you're a beginner or a licensed gun carrier, Carry in Texas offers basic firearms training, Texas permitless carry courses, license to carry, and basic 2A courses so you can understand the responsibilities, situational awareness, and learn the technical skill required when you carry your firearm. Go to carryintexas.com to find the right course for you. Join me, former United States Secret Service agent Samantha Horwitz, on the range for beginner basics, LTC prep, and range practice. Go to carryintexas.com today. That's carryintexas.com.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV, powered by the OBBM Network, with John and Sam, and our special guest, Paula Morgan, with Twin Rotors Mission. If you're just tuning in, Paula was giving us a rundown of what the name of the organization means and some of the resources that they provide for our veterans and our first responders. So welcome back, Paula. I know we were going on to a new program that you guys have, the SR 17.
The SR coaching.
SR coaching. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Subconscious restructuring it's a program that was designed by a Dr. Kelly Burris. The subconscious restructuring is a program that is designed to, it is designed, so you kind of, I know that we had to work on the wording a little bit here, but it's a program process. It's not psychotherapy, okay, but it is specifically designed to work with individuals who to help them to address their self-talk, okay, whether it's negative, whether it's sabotage, whatever that it is that they're doing. So a lot of times, what I'd like to use the illustration of when you get behind your vehicle, who's in charge of the steering wheel? Who's taking charge of the steering wheel? And if you take that illustration and you equate it to your mind and what you're thinking on a daily basis, who's in charge of your mind? And so what we do is when we work through a 7-step process that helps to identify what are you currently saying to yourself? What questions do you ask yourself on a daily basis? How does those questions look? Okay. Then we migrate to the next step, which is what is our picture? What does a picture of yourself look like in that particular setting? Then the 4th step is basically addressing behaviors that they're not working for you. You need to make them go away. So a perfect example of why I believe that this works so well for our veteran community is because when we go into the service, we go through our training. It's called institutionalized trauma. Okay. When we work through the SR process, what we're doing is we're retraining our minds to think for ourselves. Instead of being told what to do all the time, we're now back into this mindset. It's like, wait a minute. I have the power to do this. It's like I don't have to ask to go use the restroom. Okay, that's where we're at. And I've got 20 clients that I've worked with quite regularly, and I've got about 5 more in what I call in the tube. They're getting ready. I'm getting ready to start working with them. But the beauty of what SR does, and what I call the SR difference here. So yes, I did make some notes, so I make sure I remember everything. But first of all, a lot of people come into coaching thinking, well, they need to tell me that they have a diagnosis or that they're on medication or that I need to know their personal history. Well, for the record, I'm not going to say I don't care, but you can leave it in the trunk. I don't need to know about it. Okay, we're just going to focus on where we start moving forward. We actually start with step 1, which is where you define what normal is for you. Okay, so you fill out this questionnaire and you're very honest about what it says. So we talk about how it begins with an emotional measurement to define normal, which is not clearly defined in counseling, most coaching situations, and the DSM, the diagnostic statistic. So it guides you through the process of how thought, emotion, and behavior work. Okay. So I had a veteran who recently went through this, suffers from TBI, and he's had a lot of benefits from what is transpiring through the work that we have done together. But even he has become more of where he's been a student to where now he's even promoting it to other people because they want to be able to show. And through the whole process of developing the SR life coaching, then I've been working to develop a stronger team and support system where I do have clinical support who help to supervise what we do. And it's been very rewarding to see the outcome. The beauty about what I see happening with the clients that I've been working with from an SR perspective is that the results are there. You can't argue the results. You started here, you reassessed yourself here, and the improvements are anywhere from 20 to 50 to 80% that I've seen. It's very significant in what it measures and the improvements that take place afterwards. And
that's Paula, I don't mean to cut you off. Before I lose my train of thought, I just want to back up on that one question on the questionnaire, which is actually running through my head, is what is normal to you? And,
exactly.
And it's a real interesting question. And I'm actually, and I'll tell you right now, I'm kind of battling it in my head, because I'm like, if I sat in front of that piece of paper and I had to write down what was normal to me, I don't know how I would answer it, because I'm not too sure what real normal is anymore. And it's got to be different for everybody. So do you see other people struggling with that question? Because that's a deep question.
So, well, and that's a very good question to ask. What happens is when you're defining normal, you're answering questions. There's 12, 10, 20, 22 questions that you will answer. And you rate them on a scale. The questions, you rate them on a scale based on where you see yourself now. So it's saying in a counseling environment tends to be more subjective, where they're rating you. Okay, they give you a rating. They have to give you a diagnosis. This is what regulation is. That's what they're regulated by. That's what they have to do. Life coaching is not quite as regulated, but I have taken steps to engage with a program that is regulated. We do have measurable outcomes. So these are things that we can really take a hard look at. And probably the key to the SR coaching that we do is that we also have step 6, which focuses on your gut health. So we understand that between our brain and our gut, which is considered the second brain, we understand that the foods that we eat, our diet, sleep, the whole 9 yards, all of this has a direct correlation to our mental health. And so if we are not taking steps to ensure that, we tend to focus a lot on exercise, but I'll be honest with you, that exercise is useless if we're not putting fuel in our body that's actually going to fuel our bodies. And so in a real quick story about why this is such a huge deal, even to me, is because I was in a lot of physical pain, could not figure out why I was in so much physical pain. They kept telling me, well, I had it was because of my trauma. There's that book out there called The Body Keeps Count, the whole 9 yards. I started taking a closer look at my diet, and I felt like I was eating very healthy. Went to see a whole health doctor, and she sent me to see another doctor who said I was suffering from Lyme disease. I had no idea that I was suffering from in fact, it took me quite a while to accept and to believe it, but it was truly a eye-opening experience to me to realize that if I hadn't been doing what I was doing through the SR program, and of course, your best sale is you use it yourself. And so if I had not been using it, engaging it as I was, I don't know that I would have found the doctor who was able to refer me to the doctor who gave me the diagnosis that I needed.
And you made another contact in order to help people as well in terms of support. We got to take our next break. We're going to hear from OBBM, who is responsible for our faces in front of you tonight.
Yeah, OBBM, you're responsible for this face.
These faces. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned.
Interested in starting a podcast or TV show? Worried about what you'll say and how to keep it engaging? Think you'd like to be a guest on podcast, radio, or TV shows? Hi, I'm Susan Hamilton, owner and founder of OBBM Network, and I would like to invite you to an OBBM media training to get the tools you need for a relaxed and polished performance we'll be proud to share. Our specialized training techniques include role play, voice training, and everything you need to deliver a confident, clear, and engaging interaction. Go to offbeatbusiness.com. Go to the calendar and register for a training that's convenient for you. Dates available now, 214-714-0495. 214-714-0995.
We're 5. I think I messed that up. But OBBM wants to hear from you. If you have got a nonprofit, if you have got a for-profit, if you've got a business out there that makes a difference, and you want to turn what you do into a podcast or a TV show just like this, go ahead and give OBBM a call. It's what they do. They have helped so many people springboard their podcast, which is how John and I started. So you didn't see our faces. And then the audience said, hey, we need to see not only you all, but your guest. And that turned into the visual, which then turned into a TV show. And now we're part of the Spreely family network. And so we are all over the place in every network. It doesn't matter what city you're in across the globe. You can get us on obbmnetwork.tv or on Spreely TV. And so, get with Susan, get with the folks at OBBM, and make your podcasts and TV show dreams come true. John, back to the show.
All right. And welcome back to Mental Wellness Monday. And I'm going to change Mental Health Monday to Mental Wellness Monday. See how my mind works? It's scattered. Mental Wellness Monday with John and Sam, and with Paula Morgan of Twin Rotors Mission. We talk that SR program sounds amazing. And just like from question 1, like I always said, you've explained a lot of things, and that's a deep dive into your own personal wellness. And I like that because a lot of us do not take that deep dive into what is really bothering us. The positive and negative thoughts that we end up pushing off those positive thoughts a lot of times. We wake up with those negative, thoughts. But who's really driving that car? We have the power to change those thoughts. And I recommend that program to anybody. I mean, just sitting here for these last couple of minutes, I'm really intrigued by it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I try to make it fun, when you're working with people and you're asking them to share with you what their thoughts are, and they're afraid to share. And I said, don't be afraid. Just share whatever's on your mind. Just write it down. The amazing thing that I love to hear from people, though, is when they've actually written something down, and then they'll go back and look at it 2-3 days, maybe even a week later, and they're like, oh, wow, that was really dark. They said, I really want to change this. And so they're motivated then to get in there and want to change what they're doing. And sometimes you're working with not just veterans, but I've also found myself in a position where I'm working with a lot of executive coaches. Who do the counselors have that they can talk to? They don't. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't, but they do, but they don't. They just need another way to which they can process things and another perspective. And so I really do feel that, kind of going back a little bit through all of my programs, we started with equine therapy, thinking, okay, this is, research based, it's all supported, et cetera, et cetera. And then last year we kind of were put in a situation where I had to take a step back and think about, okay, what are we really doing here? And I went back and I thought about what is different about me compared to the other individuals that were involved in the team. But by the way, everybody on my team is required to do SR. They have to have the SR background so that they understand where we're coming from. Like, we go into that quilting class, you might not think much about what does SR have to do with this. It actually is very, very fun to see the fruits of those things come about. But
I wasn't putting down quilting.
John, you're next in the quilting class.
I wasn't putting it down.
Well, we got a lot of fun stuff out there planned to do. I mean, it's just we're going to start doing little, 2 or 3 minute slideshows of people doing a little video, being goofy or something like that. No, we don't. I'm just joking. But we might. So, from a leadership perspective too, I've always got to be on top of what's going on. I don't want to say the latest and greatest, but you talk about policies. I mean, we have to be involved in understanding of what's going on with the mental wellness, mental health side of the house. Because if we're not, then there's a lot of great things that are happening in our that's not being addressed. It's just like put aside. It's just sort of. I watched a short video just the other day on Facebook about a woman who was sitting before Congress, and she was putting out all the medications that she had been prescribed by the VA, and how if she had taken all of those medications at once, she probably wouldn't be here today. She knew enough not to do that. But from that perspective, we've got to start addressing the heart of the problem, and that is that we can't just keep looking at medication as the answer to everything. And there's a conglomeration of things that we have to look at in order to make sure that we're not missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Grand scheme of things that are going on. So but the equine therapy will eventually come back. But my whole point is that we have the SR. When we use that as a foundation before we go into military reboot, before we go into the creative arts, take that into leadership, business development, that sort of thing. That all of these little programs, they're all intertwined with a theme in mind that we are going to address veteran suicide. And so I also like to, because we also expand to include our families and first responders. So I prefer to use the word warriors, but when we're doing things like when we have certain outreach events that are more focused on veterans, then we tend to use our veteran language a little bit more. But I have a 3C approach, which is, we want to connect to develop meaningful relationships. We want to develop a safe place to establish camaraderie. And we want to empower the community to know that there are resources out there to help our veterans. I had one of those calls today from an individual who said that they were looking for help for their friend who was a veteran. And so we spent some time talking on the phone, trying to figure out what the situation was, to get him in touch with the people he needed to get in touch with so that he could help his friend. So that was, there's days that's what it's like. Your phone's ringing off the hook. I need this number. I need that. I need this. So I really enjoy doing what I do. It's very rewarding to be in the life coaching side of the house and to work one-on-one. My vision has always been to pair with a life coach and a counselor together to establish a framework that allows us to work together to really empower that individual to work to overcome whatever it is that they're struggling with. So sometimes relationships are restored. Sometimes that person is empowered enough to leave a toxic relationship. And either way, they need support to do that. So I encourage them to work to develop a strong support network as well, which is also very hard to find. But you don't know for sure who's got your six.
Yeah, you focus in the beginning, you are a peer, it's peer to peer.
Yes.
And one of the best things that you can do is sit down and have a cup of coffee. Paula,
Yes.
I know you like coffee. I saw your post the other day. I like coffee. John likes coffee, and our friends at East Texas Legends Coffee Company, well, daggone it, they like coffee so much that they made a business out of it. East Texas Legends Coffee Company, founded by Ben and Amanda Holmes, reflects their journey from Ben's Marine Corps service and law enforcement career, overcoming PTSI, to finding purpose in ranching. Relocating to an East Texas ranch, they identified a need for a local coffee brand. Now they're opening their first coffee shop in Lindale, Texas, rooted in faith, family, and community. Their mission, inspire purposeful conversations over coffee. Drink coffee, be legendary. Go to etxlegendscoffee.com. Use promo code BADGE for 15% off coffee and merch. You got just 1 minute to get that QR code there. And so this is our merch that we have every week. Cheers. Bing. And I usually drink hot coffee exclusively, but it's summertime in Texas, and like today.
I'm waiting for them to get the IV bag of coffee. I could just.
Well, that would be nice. That would be a great way to wake up. But someone would have to be there to put it in the vein, because obviously we'd be sleeping. But that'd be a great way to wake up. No, we're not doing that. But Keeps. So this is one of their tumblers. Keeps your iced coffee cold all day, and your hot coffee. If you're in air conditioning all day, you can enjoy your hot coffee all day as well. So go ahead and grab that. Again, 15% off. They will ship wherever you are. So go ahead and get your shipment in, and you will not be sorry. Some of the best coffee. It is the best coffee out there. I'm biased. Yes, I am. So, hey, Paula, real quick, because we put the website up a couple of times, but what is the best way for people to connect with you? And then where do you play on social media?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, both under Twin Rotors Mission. It's all spelled out. Facebook is a way to connect. The best way to get in touch with me is by email, twinrotorsmission@gmail.com, especially if you're interested in the SR program. We offer that at no charge to individuals who qualify. I do target the audience of veterans, military, first responders, and their family, a family member who may be struggling. So that is my target audience. Occasionally, I will accommodate a advocate, someone who is very much advocating. Maybe they are a caretaker of a veteran, and those caretakers, they go through a lot. I'm also looking at doing some more work with our Gold Star families. I don't know if you are aware, a lot of their funding was pulled during the Biden era, so they just aren't getting the support. I was just recently made aware of that. And I'm also going to look at doing a little bit more work with our with families whose veteran took their life by suicide. So there's an initiative out there for that as well. But really, that's the best way to get in touch with me is the Twin Rotors Mission at gmail.com, and to initiate a conversation. Today we talk about PTSD awareness. We talk about Buddy Check Day. And so the whole purpose of the 22nd of every month is to, hey, reach out to a buddy that that's struggling, get in touch with them, invite them out to have coffee. I know if I'm going to have coffee, if they have Hazelwood, the
creamer. Yeah.
Sam sat there and watched me dump it into my coffee. But it was very good coffee. But that's to say, you first responders and your coffee, you just really got me hooked on that.
Paula, real quick, what I want you to do too, you talk about the Gold Star families.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to, I don't know if you ever heard of what's going on with the bills that are being passed, and now through Texas as well. The Green Star families, have you heard of them?
Yes, that is one initiative that I'm looking at, to start a group here in our local area, because we've had several suicides, and it's a lot of these people have never connected with us. They didn't even know that we were here. And I wonder how you can be in a community of this size for 5 years and not know about us and not know what we do. But it seems like it's an issue here. And Ultimately, when you hear about the circumstances about how that particular individual was living, and they say that, well, they were refusing help, but they were living in total filth. I'm like, well, we would remove an animal from a condition like that. Why would we not remove a human being from a condition like that?
Yeah. Well, there's so much that you offer. I'll put the website up again, twinrotorsmission.org or twinrotorsmission@gmail.com, direct to Paula. Paula, this is fantastic. If you are in East Texas, if you're in a rural area, reach out to Paula and her group and get there's no judgment. Just reach out, ask for what you need. I got romper room going on behind me here. And they will get you, she will get you either connected or help you directly. And Paula, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me. It was an absolute honor. I know. How long did it take us to finally make this happen?
Yeah. So it's been a minute, and it's been great to have you on. And thank you for what you're doing for our veterans, for our first responders, for the families, and to make the community aware, hey, this is what's going on here, and bring them in the fold as well. So we will definitely be in touch.
Yes, and thank you so much for what you are doing too to help get the word out, not just for my nonprofit, but for others that are also trying to do, positive things for the community, for their communities.
Absolutely. That's what it's about.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will be in touch. Thank you so much.
Take care, Paul.
All right.
Wonderful organization. Love the background of the organization, that she took something that she did and her husband did and created the nonprofit. If you guys don't know what a Chinook helicopter is, just look it up. It's a pretty impressive thing, and they run an amazingly impressive nonprofit. So thank you again to Paula for what she's doing and making a difference out there. We have got so much going on. I got a whole notebook here stuff with partners coming up. September is right around the corner. You hit July 4th and then boom, the next thing is 9/11. So we have got Sierra Delta. They were on a couple of shows ago. They are having a golf tournament and a fundraiser. So you can go to sierradelta.com for that. Connect with BJ, and you can get your team signed up. And then we've got on the 25th and 26th of September, we got Texas Takeover 100. And how do you get tickets to that? TexasTakeover100.com. What is it? It is a group of like-minded humans getting together to talk about everything in their lives that help them operate at 100%, whether it be mental wellness, because we heard from Paula how important it is, your mental wellness, how your gut is connected. So we talk about diet, exercise, you name it. It's all about how you as an individual want to operate at 100%. So get your tickets right now, TexasTakeover100.com. Learn how to operate at 100% from those that are doing it. They put the money where their mouth is every single day. And 100 Club is on X if you want to check them out. You can connect. You can see it by going to TexasTakeover100.com. We'll be in Allen, Texas. Again, it's Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th of September. Then we have got our friends Joe and Liz Bartholomew. They are running First Responders Retreat, and that is coming up the 28th of September through the 2nd of October. And that is in beautiful Three Lakes, Wisconsin, Northern Lights, the whole thing. Beautiful campsite. You're not in tents. You're in cabins. Don't worry. Peer-to-peer healing. They bring in guest speakers. It is outstanding. Last year, sold out. There's very little space left. So you want to go to firstresponders.retreat.com to grab the last remaining spaces. And hey, you want to know where we are and what we're doing, a badgeofhonor.org. We can't do this alone. There's a donate button. So whatever you can give, please hit that donate button. We so appreciate it. And definitely hit like and subscribe from wherever you're watching tonight. To all of our first responders out there, thank you for what you do, keeping our community safe. We know in this time it is harder than ever. You got prayer warriors behind you. So thank you. To all of our veterans, thank you for fighting the good fight that allows John and I to do a show like this every single week. And to our active duty personnel spread out across the globe, thank you for keeping our shores safe here at home. John, take us home.
Once again, man, just like you said, to all our first responders out there fighting a good fight and being out there so we can sleep well at night. I know the battle's rough. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Keep up the good work. Don't let other people, don't let negative news bring you down. If it wasn't for you, you know, we'd have communities in chaos. You are the barrier between civility and chaos. So keep up that barrier. You're doing great. And we love you for it. Until next week, peace.
Take care, everybody.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBM Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBM Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.